Hey, Bob.
Hey, how you doing?
How's it going? Yeah, well, I'm doing really well, but what are you doing here?
I'm just finishing up this trowel.
You're finishing up like you're making it from scratch.
Yep, this is forged out of stainless steel here, mild steel here, forge welded together, welded then forge welded, and bent.
Okay, Bob, you're speaking some strange language to me. Let's go over it again step by step because I thought that these were made like in a factory somewhere way, way away.
99% of them are made in the factory.
But not this one.
Yeah, there's darn few people still making them by hand. The basic process, you start off with a piece of steel for the blade. Mark out the shape of the blade, and then you cut it out with an angle grinder. And then after that, you cut out a piece of rod, round rod, which is brought over here to the forge. And I put it in the forge, heat it up, and I hammer it. And on the end, I hammer it into a square here. This is a part that's going to go into the handle. And that way, when I put it into the handle, you got a square peg in a square hole instead of a square peg in a round peg in a round hole. And then also right here, you'll see I've hammered it so that it is narrower in this direction than it is in this direction. So that what happens is it's stronger going this way, which is all the forces on the trowel are in this way. And then I bend it. And then I take it next door and slot it, come back, slide this on, and then the oxygen acetylene weld this together. And then while it's still hot, I hammer it. It's basically forge welding. You hammer it so that you can press the molecules and everything fused together. And then smooth this out. Then I grind that smooth. And then I bring it over here. And then I put it in the forge, heat it up, and then hammer this into the curve. So it's at this stage. The last thing is to wire wheel this off to get all the slag off of it. Coat it with a coat of clear varnish or acrylic, and install a handle on it, and then drill through the handle and put a rivet through. And the difference, most trowels, they're shoved on. You can see the rivet right through here. That can't come apart. The biggest problem with small tools is the handles coming off or them breaking. Well, this is much stouter than your average tool. It has right in here, it's very thick. That's where a trowel is usually very thin.
It gives, that's
paper
true.
thin. And this is a much thicker rod than you would find on most trowels. They'll use about a 3/8 inch rod, and this is a 1/2 inch. And then it's squeezed up so it's stronger in this direction.
Well, Bob, I've noticed that there's a lot more than just one type of trowel, too. You have several laying out here. Can you give me a synopsis of what they are?
This trowel that I'm making right here, this is a large trowel. It's a full-size trowel, and it's for people with pretty big hands. Then I make two more trowels. This one right here is a medium. You can see it's the same length as that,
just narrower.
But it's narrower. And then the short, which I don't have right here, is the same width as this, but it's shorter.
So really then it's a difference in the size of the user, depending on which one of those you would choose. Now, these other three here, explain those to me.
These are variants on a trowel. For instance, this one right here is the same as the large one, only it's more deeply cupped, and it's sharpened all the way up the side. And you push it in the ground, and you twist it, and you can make a hole. It's a transplant trowel. We call it a hole-about, because it makes a hole about this big around. And then this one right here is another one of my own design. And this one is one might look like it's made by a dyslexic blacksmith, the trowel face being on upside down. Normally you'd have the trowel cupped this way. This is a potting trowel, because if you're potting with it this way, your hand is up and into the head of the plant.
That would make sense.
And if it's a tender plant, such as a begonia or a brittle plant like a fuchsia, you can knock pieces off. So this places your hand down and away outside of the pot, so you can work in a pot without damaging the plant. So that's a potting trowel. And then this one right here is a Rockery Trowel, and it's one of two that I make. One of them is a little flatter. This one is a little deeper. This one's called a sweeter, and for a number of reasons. It's both a weeder and a seeder and a trowel. It's a Rockery Trowel. We work in very narrow spaces, and then as you can pry weeds out with it. It's real good for tap-rooted weeds. And then you see these little notches right here? Those are not to mark the depth, because I have never met a gardener who can't tell 1 inch from 1 inch from 3 inches. But on the other hand, what you do with this is you put a packet of seed right here, and then you start tapping like this, and the seeds will stage as they march down here, and it beats the heck out of doing this with your hand.
Exactly.
So you can use it as a seeder and a weeder. And it's actually from Scandinavia. The original tool is called a fid, and this is my version of that kind of tool. And so it's a seeder, weeder, and it's probably from Sweden.
Okay, well, but this one's right here from Boring, Oregon.
That's true.
So listen, what's your website, Bob?
It's redpigtools.com.
So you can get those online. They also have a great store out in the Boring area. And, you know, I've always said that, you know, quality doesn't go out of style. And if you want a quality tool that's not going to break or fall apart on you, you certainly have to go to redpig.com, tools.com, and see their website. You can go to gardentime.tv, and we'll click you over there, too. Bob, very, very entertaining, and I learned a lot about tools. Thanks a lot, man.
Thank you very much.